YouTube, it's Faye, and for today's video, just do a quick and simple demonstration of how I track the oil consumption on my Mk5 Supra. Now, of course, we know this engine does not have a dipstick, so how the heck do you check and verify that it's not burning any oil at all, which we did see was a problem with the earlier models. This is a 2023. Doesn't have that problem as far as I know, but we are gonna do her 5th oil change today, so we're gonna take a look and we're gonna check. So this has a way of measuring the engine oil where you run the engine for 30 minutes, it revs it up, and then it tells you that the oil level is okay. Okay, what does that mean? Does it mean it's spot on? Does it mean it's half a quart low? You can't actually have it tell you with any sort of certainty. And another thing to note is that if it's overfull, it can't tell you that either. So you really have to be spot on when you're adding your oil, and then you really have to be diligent about checking and just making sure that you know how much oil is going in and coming out at every oil change. So I'm gonna show that to you today. This is the video that I'm gonna make for this week. Sorry it's gonna be a short one, you guys. I'm still recovering from a hockey injury. Yes, my face is still swollen, but at this point I am able to cover the purple with makeup. Although as you can tell, I still cannot really move my neck. So it is what it is. I'm doing my best, people. In my glove box, I just keep this little logbook, and I just mark down every time I change the oil, what is the date, what is the mileage, and then what was the mileage in between the last oil change. Now, the owner's manual does specify every year or every 10,000 miles. However, I personally try to shoot for around 7,500 miles. And as you can see, most of the time I've done under 7,000 miles, but this is the first time that I'm actually a little bit over. I'm about 7,700 miles. And then what I do is I write down the exact amount of oil that I add in, which the spec is 6.9 quarts. I always put in, you know, I dump in 7-quart bottles and just assume that there's some, you know, residual left in the bottle. 7 quarts, it's good. And then I'll always mark how much I drained out at that oil change as well. So over time, over the past 30,000 miles, I've been tracking her consumption. So you can see here that in 7,000 miles, my engine has never consumed more than a quart, or even close to a quart for that matter. So we are doing freaking fantastic. So that's what I do. Let me show you how. I'm also a little embarrassed at how dirty she is right now. She definitely needs a bath, but remove the cap, and then I put a rag. Got the underhood light there. Next thing I'm gonna do is crack open the oil filter housing to allow this area to drain. And for that, we're gonna use 32mm shallow socket on a little wobbly. Also got my oil filter kit ready to go. Removing the oil cap in the oil filter housing just helps ensure that I'm draining out all the oil from the engine. It basically removes that vacuum and allows things to drain all the way out. Now, naturally, we will have some left over in the filter for sure, but we want to get the most accurate reading as possible. Now, underneath the car, kind of cool, we got this little access panel to get to the drain plug, and you can see it says open with an arrow, close with an arrow, and it's, it's cold today, so everything hurts. There we go. There's our drain plug, 17mm. So as I drain the oil out, I'm gonna drain it into the beaker, and I'm gonna measure how much comes out, literally to the last drip. Now, obviously this is not gonna hold 7 quarts. It's in liters, then I convert it to quarts. It is what it is. I've had this beaker for like 6 years, so I just keep on using it, people, it's fine. So yeah, the line is 5 liters. I just fill it up to there, verify it on a flat surface, dump it out, and then fill it up again. We're gonna do that. To make it easier. And I've got my 17mm socket. And I'm gonna keep a rag and the drain plug nearby because I'm gonna have to stop it up once it gets close. Should I get a bigger measuring beaker? Probably, okay, probably. But to have more, desire less. So there we go, I just put the drain plug temporarily back in. You can also see, yes, I am losing some on my gloves. There's a margin of error here, people. There's a little margin of error. So I'm gonna say that we are at 4750. I'll just write that down, dump this out, and let's finish draining the oil out. After dumping it out, I'm also just wiping it clean. Now, we aren't here for quick lube oil change service, people. We are here for science. So we want all this oil to come out. Be patient, go off, do something else, and allow this oil to flow to just a drip. Also, I will note I do get the engine a little bit warm, not hot, not fully operating temperature, but just warm before draining so that the oil is thinner and will drain out faster. All right, I think we are officially almost all the way drained. I'm gonna say close enough. So let's grab this and take our final measurement. On a flat and level surface, and it's settled. And we've got 1,000 milliliters here and 1,500 here. So we've got 1,250 there in the middle. So what are we thinking? Like roughly 1,200 milliliters, I think is what we got here. What do you guys think? I'm gonna say 4,750 plus 1,200. 5,950 milliliters. Let's convert that to quarts. So we've got 6.287 quarts. All right, so I'm gonna write that down in my logbook. But also, let's convert this into more common automotive speak. So we had 6.28, actually let's just round that to 6.3 quarts at the end of the oil change. And I started with 7, leaving us with 0.7 quarts of oil consumed in a period of 7,713 miles. But we track engine oil consumption in thousands of miles. So we're gonna divide this by 1,000 and we get 7.713. So 0.7 quarts divided by 7.713, or the amount of times that we've gone the specified 1,000 miles, and we get 0.09, 9/100ths of a quart, which is well within specification. It's actually said that less than 1 quart every 1,000 miles is acceptable. So why even do this, right? Why on earth am I wasting my time? Clearly my car is fine. I've known for the past 5 oil changes now that my car burns next to nothing. But here's why. I like to be informed. I like to know. Knowing your engine oil consumption tells you so much about the health of your engine, right? It tells me my piston rings are sealing good. It tells me my PCV system is working correctly. And this is also, I can detect early on if my vehicle is gonna have any sort of problems. And without a dipstick, how else am I supposed to know? Right? So many engines out there. And I'm not talking Toyota, I'm talking like across the board, no matter what you drive. There are engines that have oil consumption issues. I mean, just Google it. You'll see a plethora right now that are going through issues like this. So if I'm able to catch it early on, then I can make early corrections. I can make changes to my maintenance. If there's any warranty claim I need to make early on, I can do that. You know, it basically puts the power back in my own hands, because if I'm just taking my car in to get serviced every 10,000 miles or every year, the technician isn't checking it, right? They're just draining it out and putting the specified amount back in. And most of us don't know anything until a light comes on our dash, right? And sometimes that's too late, right? Sometimes there'll be a light on if your engine is in a quart of oil low. Sometimes your oil light will come on, depending on the maker manufacturer, when there's only a quart of oil left in your pan, right? So you don't want to be the person that's just like picking up the scraps. You want to be ahead of the curve. You want to know what's going on with your vehicle. And you know, maybe it's just me. I just like to be a little bit OCD about my maintenance, and I like to know the status of all of my vehicles, because that's just my personality. But anyway, that's why it has value to me to do so. Now I'm just going to go ahead and finish the entire service, but I'm not going to include that in this video. If you're interested in that, I have multiple videos on my channel of changing the oil on the Mk5, but that is just how I track the oil consumption. So hope you found that interesting. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.